Look, I've been there. You realize that your child can be your best gaming buddy, but you can't quite figure out how to get them started. Their hands aren't ready for hadoukens, and their play isn't prepared for platforming. Fortunately for us, a good option came along late last year, and I'm going to help your mini trainer get started on their journey. Pokémon as a series is a solid entry point to role-playing games. The mechanics are fairly forgiving, and you're given several advantages over your adversaries, such as having infinite lives with no real penalty for losing. Some people joke that the Pokémon series is too easy and that the difficulty is made for kids. Well, good. That's exactly what we need. Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Pokémon Shining Pearl, which I'll be referring to as BDSP from here on out, are not only great entry points for Pokémon, but for video games in general. These games can teach several video game basics that we take for granted, such as movement, menus, and tutorials, while allowing the player to form their own party to use. Even if we go into depth on, say, movement, we see a quick advantage over something like Pokémon Sword and Shield. While navigating in 3D is a difficult place to start for many kids, BDSP gives you an option to use the directional pad to more easily control your movement in 2D, yet still gives you the analog stick to use if you want to move faster and learn how to move diagonally as well. It introduces the foundations of decision making, customization, strategizing, and other aspects of gameplay. Before sitting down and introducing your youngster to BDSP, it's good to keep some things in mind here. Patience is key. Your child is probably going to struggle in ways that you don't see coming. Depending on how far along your child is, anything could become a challenge, from knowing the game's directions to simply moving from point A to point B. It's going to be tempting to get upset and rush them along. First of all, keep your cool, and imagine if this was the first time you ever tried playing something difficult. How would you want your mentor to react? Probably not by scoffing and telling you how easy it is as you fumble around. This is their first attempt, and how you respond can have a big impact on what memories they take from the experience. They're going to do things much slower than you, and you have to be okay with that. Their fun is more important than their progress. One of the first mistakes I made when trying to introduce games to my oldest child came during their first moment of frustration. They couldn't figure out a jump in Mario, and after a couple of failed attempts, they asked me to do it for them. My mistake was saying yes. I was tempted to help them move to the next section, but by doing that, I robbed them of the opportunity to grow and learn from their struggles. Worse, it left them unprepared for the next level. Frustration is not always the opposite of fun. It could be a motivator that leads to excitement and joy once the source of that frustration is vanquished. We have to be okay with them getting frustrated. It's okay to lose a battle or lose a Pokémon. Not everything comes easy, nor would we want it to in our gaming. Losing is a lesson too. At the same time, you know this child better than I do. If they struggle with reading, do the heavy lifting for them on that front. If they don't understand why water is super effective against fire, help them understand. I'm not saying throw them out to the wolf Pokémon. Just let their gameplay set the pace. Now, sometimes things can be overwhelming, so keep an eye on when your child may need to take a break or save the game for a future attempt. There may even be a time where it's best to give a hint or a tip. Just be careful that you don't become a hindrance to their ability to progress. Encourage them to experiment. In a series like Pokémon, you can get hung up on sticking with your favorite one, especially if it's your starter, and ignoring all the others. While there are features like Experience Share, which allow your team to level up alongside your favorite, you'll eventually run into a Pokémon that can counter yours. The nature of the game dictates that if my favorite Pokémon is Gyarados, which is a water and flying type, I'm going to run into an electric type that can KO it. Encourage them to use different Pokémon and try various ones on their squad to diversify their team and their experience. There are over 400 Pokémon in BDSP. They'll be missing out on so much if they only stick with one. And if they resist, let them try sticking with one and seeing how far they get. If they lose as a result, it's an opportunity to learn and understand that you were trying to help them without making it into a fight. But if they win, imagine the epic story that they'll be able to tell, how it was them and their buddy against the world. Set a timer. When starting out on something like this, it's a good idea to set a time limit on the experience. Just because Pokémon takes hours to beat and it's not meant to be completed in one sitting, doesn't mean your child knows that. This way, everyone has an expectation ahead of time of what's reasonable. But within that timer, know that you can't save while you're in the middle of a battle or a cutscene, so you may have to adjust for that and be a little flexible. How high you set that timer is up to your family dynamics and how well your kid does with screen time. However, anything less than 10 minutes probably won't give them enough time to accomplish anything, especially if they're still struggling with things like the controls or with reading. Talk about your experience when you're not gaming. Even when they aren't actually playing the game, Pokémon has been a storytelling experience for my children. They love talking about the battles they've won and what makes their favorite Pokémon special. They might have questions or stories for you. Embrace that. They're trying to bring you into their world. This is the type of stuff that not only gets them excited about the next session, but helps them bond with you. My kids sometimes talk about what kind of Pokémon they would like to make for themselves, or pretend to catch their toys in a Pokeball. Enjoy sharing the experience if they let you in. Multiple kids can play on one save file. If you have 2 or even 3 kids, but not a lot of time, let them split team responsibilities on the same file. There are up to 6 Pokemon on a team, and each kid can be responsible for 2 or 3 of those Pokemon. If you're setting a timer, have them take turns controlling the main character, and the kids can work together on battles, next steps, or maybe even setting up how their team works. Who knows? Your kids might even learn how to work together towards a common goal, which is apparently a skill in short supply. Pokémon BDSP presents a great opportunity to share the joy of gaming with your kids. Pokémon is a series that doesn't require knowing all the previous games to understand. It's forgiving and a solid entry point into more games. Also, just in case you were worried about this, there are no microtransactions to worry about like there are in several mobile games. Obviously, each person is going to come into things at different levels of understanding, so know that your experience will vary. On a similar note, if you have questions about sharing Pokémon or other games with your kids, let me know and I'll answer any questions that you have on the topic. Well, I consider myself a bit of a Renaissance gamer, and I want to help you share the joy of gaming with your youngsters. It can be hard to introduce gaming to people, and there really aren't a lot of resources out there to help. I want to be the type of channel that can work with you towards this goal. So if you want more videos centered on sharing gaming with your family or inexperienced friends, let me know, and also make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Finally, if you have ideas or suggestions for future videos along this theme, let me know. If I include it, I'll give you a shout out for the idea. Until then, remember, the fun of teaching Pokemon isn't about the battles you win, but in the skills and the stories you can share. That's what's super effective. See you next time.